Hey, sophomores. I am here today to help you think about the craft of your micro narratives and be a little more intentional about how you shape those. And so we are going to talk today about how to make a small moment, how to really slow down a moment. And so I want you to look at this one with me from what you looked at the other day and you created. So you started thinking about what you noticed about micronarratives, how they were built, right? And so based on the kinds of things that you put in on your form, and if you have these on your list, awesome. And if you don't have them, go ahead and add them to your list if you're taking notes in your notebook or just kind of in your brain. But we notice that they're short, right? They're no more than 150 words. So you really have to be you have to pack a punch in those 150 words. We notice that they're descriptive. They tell a small story. So there's a beginning, a middle, and an end. They're focused on some kind of moment. You'll notice that there was some dialogue in the examples that we looked at. You also notice that there were multiple paragraphs. It wasn't just one brick of text, but there were intentional moments where the writer started new paragraphs. You noticed a lot of sensory details, which I noticed that too. Some of you said that you noticed that there were the thoughts of the narrator included. And then a lot of you said that there was some kind of little lesson at the end. And so I thought that those were really good noticings. I was thinking about what you noticed, and you pulled out some things that I have been thinking about as a writer. And when we think about slowing down a moment. And so let's look at this example together. So this is the one about parasailing. And I want you to think about, what do you notice? I've always loved everything about the ocean. The smell of salt water infuses my nose as the blinding sun reflects off of the glistening water. Are you ready for it? Of course I am. I've never been more excited. I hear a click, and the hook detaches from the boat as the wire is quickly unwinding, stretching over 1,000 feet in the crisp air. I look up, and then I realize this earth is beautiful. The sun is at its peak, shining across the state of Florida, and waves are crashing onto the white velvet sand. At no moment have I ever been more at ease. It's time to come down, I hear from an insisting voice down below. My spirits are minimized. I'm descending to sea level as the rope is tightly bunched up. Life is happening for us, not to us. Enjoy the world while you can. I love that moment. I've never been parasailing, but I just love I love the way the writer describes it. In fact, I'm wondering if you're noticing the same things that I am, which is this line: I have always loved everything about the ocean. That reminds me about that thing that you guys noticed about the thoughts of the narrator. I see it again over here. I look up and I realize this earth is beautiful. We're going to call those moments where the writer does those are examples of where the writer puts in their feelings. Sometimes they're the internal thoughts of the narrator, but they're definitely examples of how the writer or how the narrator is feeling something. I also noticed the writer doing this. Click, and the hook detaches from the boat as the wire is quickly unwinding and stretching. Really good verbs in there, right? And really good description so that I can picture what is happening. The writer does it again down here. Waves are crashing onto the white velvet sand. And then again here, I'm descending to sea level as the rope is tightly bunched up. Great descriptions all along the way with very few words. That writer is able to give me some really precise pictures, and we're going to call those actions. So those are moments where the writer describes some kind of action. And then this other one that you guys named as well in your noticing list, the "Are you ready for it?" and "It's time to come down." That's the talking, right? And so when we think about how we want to slow down the moments of our micro narratives, we think about this: making our writing fat. And when we make our writing fat, that means that we include feelings. What are the internal thoughts of the character or the narrator? What are actions? To describe the action, not just of the character, but of the things around the character, right? So the way the rope stretched or whatever it is, right? And then talking. How do we use purposeful dialogue Not just, hi, how are you? I'm good, how are you? But that dialogue was short, but it was purposeful so that it set something up or it moved the story forward in some way, right? When we look back at the example, that dialogue was purposeful because it gives us, like, at the beginning and then at the end, kind of allows us to see how the writer is feeling. So writers, here's what you're going to do today. You're going to look at your own writing. And as you look back over the micro narrative draft that you started yesterday, you're going to pick one of those, or maybe you're going to try it with a couple of them, and you're going to make your writing fat. You're going to make sure that you include feelings, actions, and talking. You maybe even want to highlight them to make sure that you have them. And if you look at your writing and you did that, highlight it, and then try it with another piece of writing. But make sure that there are multiple examples of feelings, not just one time when you tell how you or the narrator is feeling. Multiple examples of action words and strong description, and a couple of examples of talking. So go ahead and practice that, and then that is really what you're going to be evaluated on when you turn in your draft, your final draft. Is we're really looking for how you make your writing fat. Okay, so go ahead, set your timer for 10 or 15 minutes and really dig into this revision strategy of making your writing fat and this craft strategy. Okay, I can't wait to see what you end up doing.